this training system that you put together is ultimately designed to help everyone learn how to do it.
Obviously, that's how we train our people, right? And, through this system, and everybody that we get on board, especially obviously on the Spanish side, they're part of this training.
So if I'm a company with a solar team and I want to get a Spanish-speaking division going,
yeah,
I can just use your sales training as my own.
100%.
You don't care that I might come up and kick your ass in business because I literally have a competitive company.
Absolutely not. I do not, because at the end of the day, we all have our niche, and we have our people. If somebody wants to come and work with me, they'll be sold into whatever we're doing or our vision. And the solar industry is one of the biggest industry at the moment. It's booming like crazy, and we need a lot more collaboration.
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, as always, I've got a real treat for you. Today, Jimmy Esparza in the house. What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, how's it going now, Brad? Thank you very much.
If you guys don't know who this dude is, entrepreneur, investor, CEO of Renewable Power USA, which sounds like a solar company. Yeah?
Yeah. 100%.
Now, when you say investor, what are you investing in?
We do real estate. Obviously, we invest in solar. That's
when
a primary
you say
business.
you got a turd in your pocket? Who's we?
I guess my team. I have a team that helps me out. With
is it your money?
Yeah.
Well, then it's you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. If I was buying all kinds of buildings and I had a team that helped me, I'd be like, well, I'm buying this building and I'm buying over here in Montana. I wouldn't say we're buying because we ain't buying it. I'm buying it.
Yeah. 100%.
But
yeah.
I always think buying it means who's paying for it.
No, definitely that's coming out of my pocket.
So, all your money's coming from what? Selling solar?
Started in solar, yeah. Started in door to door, and then became pretty good at selling the product. And then I opened up a business, and then we've been doing that for almost a decade, and then moved a little bit into real estate as well. Yeah. And
now you're rolling.
That's something like that.
So entrepreneur, investor, CEO of Renewable Power USA. It says here, after working for major companies, you decided to build your own.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You got tired of being told what to do? Why'd you quit?
So I used to work with Solar City, and they were bought off by Tesla. So it was a great opportunity. I enjoyed it. And I learned the craft. Since I was probably 16, 17 years old, I wanted to create a business. So I had that in mind. I fell in love with the product. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I think it's time, for me to make the leap and to actually create my own business and I just replicate some of the good models that they had. And obviously I seen some of the things that there was in areas of opportunity, and I just went from there and created Renewable Power.
Did you not have much money when you grew up, or were you loaded as a kid? Are your parents rich?
No, absolutely not. No 7 figures, 6 figures earners at all. My dad he worked in construction, my mom cleaning house. We were originally migrated from Mexico. So I'm first generation American. So yeah.
Making over 7 figures?
Yeah. Over 8 figures. Yeah.
8 figures.
8 figures. Yeah.
9. When are you going to 9?
Huh?
When are you going to 9?
When you go to 9, well, that's the plan, man. That's what you're trying to do.
I was going to say, what's the plan? Where are you going now?
Yeah, no, 100%. We want to get the company, to 9 figures and, be, one of the pioneers in the industry, and also in other ventures that we have in mind as far as real estate and other things to integrate within the same business space.
Now, I know you one way because you have a virtual training system that's here on Lightspeed. So what is that training people?
Yeah. So, which is an amazing training, man. Appreciate everything. The team and of Lightspeed is what we're doing is we're teaching other people to actually create their own brand, and they're also teaching them how to sell solar, how to innovate, and how to virtually take advantage of all the resources that we now have available. And I give all the content as far as what helped me get to 8 figures as far as solar goes.
So basically, you're showing other people how you did what you did.
Yeah. 100%.
Dude, that'd be nuts. So, and by the way, just in case I don't forget, you guys, his social media is at Jimmy Esparza Official.
Yep.
And if you want to look at that training, it's renewablepowerusa.com, but put the word training before it.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to be residing.
Yes.
Training.renewablepowerusa.com.
Yeah.
All right. And there'll be links down below in the video, but listen, if you're not making a bunch of money selling solar, I would say there's the dude that can teach you how to make a bunch of money selling solar. Why you though? Because you went out and did it?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that helps us set us aside is I started from the bottom in the industry, from door knocking, and I learned some of the objections from the clients, and I got to be one of the top guys within the industry. And as far as like from 1,000 reps at that moment, I was on the top. Everybody says number one, right? But to be realistic, I was top 8, top 10, within the country. And then I was able to train other people, build a team. So just like through scratch, man, like definitely no investors involved or nothing like that. I don't come from wealth or nothing like that. So I'm teaching people how to, make it happen, even though you don't have, a lot of finances, or if you have some finances, then you can scale a lot faster than, the way that we've been able to do it.
So if someone's listening to this and they're not making, decent money, where do they start? Just knocking on doors?
Yeah. I think if you don't really have the resources, just go out and, be part of a good team, a good company, and then, go out there and, put in the work, knock some doors, close some deals, understand how to be a better closer, and, go through a system like the one that we have, and which will teach you how to, create those clients and try to be one of the best guys. And little by little, you'll definitely scale with not a lot of funds or investors or nothing like that.
So you built this whole thing all by yourself? Not obviously, because we have to build teams to build things, but I mean, like you didn't have any investors or anybody hand you money?
No, and no investor. And then my ignorance, I didn't even know I could acquire some debt. So I had to go out and make some sales. And from that profit that I had to pour it back from my own money. And I didn't know like we could actually have some SBA loans and stuff like that, or get investors, or,
Yeah, neither did I. That's what I did. Everyone says, why didn't you take any money over all those years? I'm like, I didn't know I could. Shit.
Right. That's crazy.
So Jimmy, let me ask you, you're the fastest growing solar company according to what? You're number 12 on the fastest growing companies list? Was that this year or a year ago? Or like when was that?
That was, we were 3 years in a row with Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies. That was last year.
And that's the Renewable Power one?
Renewable Power USA.
How do they rate that?
Well, they go based on the people that apply, and then from 5,000 companies, they have their division, like energy industry, and then solar industry, and then they check like your income, your files. The CPA has to sign it, or a lawyer, to make sure that all those numbers are legit. Which is
so what is it you're doing that all these other solar companies aren't doing?
I think is a lot of other companies are focusing on a lot of things, right? And they're like, I'm going to add this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to, they try to pivot to other things before they really master like the solar cells itself. And I think that's one of the things that definitely has helped us out, because I doubled down and I've been doing it just consistently, every single year. And I'm always trying to like, innovate and just focus on the solar side of things. And I think that's been a huge thing that has helped us out for sure.
Now that's kind of where the initial money came. Are you making more money in real estate now?
No, not just yet. Not necessarily, but we're doing some good stuff. We're doing a few constructions, some commercial space, and we get lands and residential homes and things like that.
How does it feel? Does it feel good? Well, I mean, like if you're the only one in your family with any dough,
yeah.
Does everybody come to you now?
Not really, not necessarily.
What would you say if they did?
If I could help them out, of course. When we started, my younger brother and my older brother worked with me in the solar company, and then they branch off and then they did, some, one is in the music industry and another one is in, car sales. So they kind of branch out based on that. So, but if they come back to me, if I could help, my pleasure. Like I'm able to help and have the resources. That's why God gave me resources to try to help other people if I can.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
See, I say don't do it unless you don't expect to get it back. That's my rule.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I've given people in my family money that, like, I didn't really. In other words, I should have said no.
Yeah.
But I kind of think like you do. And so I gave him money, but I didn't expect it back, because that's where the trouble comes in. When I got to chase them, and, I expect it back. Now we don't pay. Now there's some tension between us, and it's never any good. So it's easier just to say no. So if you can't afford to give it to them, just say no, because dude, it does ruin relationships.
No, 100%. Yeah. I think you
make it sound all, you're a dick if you don't do it. Well, sure, if I got the resources, why not? So you got some dude coming to you every freaking week asking you for more and more and more and more and more, and all you're doing is allowing them to buy more and more drugs.
Yeah.
You'd keep giving them money? If you had them, sure.
No, absolutely not. If it's for the wrong reasons, and it's like...
What if you had the drugs? Would you just give them the drugs direct?
No, absolutely not, man. Not if it's going to kill him or going to get him to a wrong path, right? I don't think I'll, take that route for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
But if you're the first one in the family with money, well, then everyone's coming to you, I can tell. Because everyone, those families, they stay families when one of them gets rich.
Right.
And the reason I say it is I'm like, not, I guess I got people with a little money, but I'm going to be the main one, I think.
Yeah.
And, they used to come around a lot, and I'd help a lot. And then I finally just said, look, until you pay me this back, we're done. And then they never came back, because they never paid it back.
Oh.
So if you're gonna loan it, act like you don't want it back. That's the best.
Yeah.
And if you can afford that, God bless you, do it. I would say yes. But man, I'll tell you, some of them, they don't deserve it. In other words, you're gonna hurt them by giving them a loan. No,
100%. I think I learned my lesson when they're multiple times asking for me to loan some money. It's like, you know what, try to catch it back, and somebody else will ask me, and I'll say, hey, you want me to loan you some money? Then ask this person, he has some money, and he can loan you some of the money that I was able to do. But after I went through that, I think I'm just like, you know what, if I could give you this, but don't ask for a loan or things like that. It's like, if I could give you this, I'll give it to you, and hopefully it helps you out. But then I can't be distributing to everybody, because I also got a business, expenses, and I got a family too to feed.
Then you'd be broke.
Yeah. For sure.
So you're about to train like everybody in your company, or this training system is for anybody in the solar industry, no matter who they work for?
Yeah, this is for anybody in the industry, no matter who they work for. Like, it's an
why would those other companies let you train them? Because then they're gonna say, man, why don't I just go to work for them?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the companies, when they're initially starting off, to build a training system like this is a little bit difficult, right? And because it's a lot of work, it's a big investment, it's really time consuming. So, in the beginning stages or even mid stages, they're working towards just building teams, getting sales guys, and just training them and putting them out there and trying to bring in some revenue. So this definitely helps out, and helps them, eliminate all that time and finances, and they could put it, to whatever they're already doing, and they will, even 5 times to double whatever they're doing, because they're not spending time or resources or have to invest those, thousands of dollars to create something like that. So I'll definitely help out a lot of companies, and I should, I definitely encourage for anybody to, take advantage of it.
Is it all finished and ready to go?
It's good to go. Yeah, we're ready to go.
Dang. And it's all in Spanish.
Yeah, it's Spanish. Yeah, 100% in Spanish. And we got some few videos in English as well there, but it's mainly focused in Spanish. Espanol.
And dude, that's the big need, because there's a lot of people with quote unquote solar training, but it's definitely not in Spanish.
Yeah, no, 100%.
The thing I see though with people that speak Spanish is most of them also speak English.
Yeah, but there is a lot of things that get lost in translation, just because, obviously 2 different languages. And I think one of the biggest things, they get to identify for somebody that, in the beginning, my first language was Spanish, right? So, once you get to kind of have that feeling from somebody that was able to, have this type of success in the solar industry, and you get to see it and feel it from somebody that you could identify yourself with, I think you start to believe it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And that's where the mindset, and it triggers you to, it's like, hey man, I'm able to do it too, because most of the people that, their first language is Spanish, they probably come from a different country, and to, come to another country, and for you to make it, it's not easy, it's definitely something tough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dude, you're going to be like, well, you kind of already are. You're going to be like what do you call American success story.
We try.
What I mean? Huh?
We definitely try, man. Like, I think that's one of the things. Like, we came here for a reason. You know, it was tough for my grandma to come in from, another country and put my dad over here, put my, and my mom too, come in illegally, and then, make all the, everything, make it work. And I think I owe it to them.
Who's this guy?
He's Eder. He's our trainer and recruiter in the Yuma area. Yeah.
He stays silent. I see.
Yeah.
He's just doing this. You guys can't see him on the camera, but he's doing this. But anyway, dude, so this training system that you put together is ultimately designed to help everyone learn, learn how to do it. But why wouldn't you make it for just your company?
We also have it, obviously that's how we train our people, right? And, through this system and everybody that we get on board, especially obviously on the Spanish side, they're part of this training.
So if I'm a company with a solar team and I want to get a Spanish speaking division going,
yeah,
I can just use your sales training as my own.
100%. Like
you don't care that I might come up and kick your ass in business because I literally have a competitive company.
Yeah. Absolutely not. I do not, because at the end of the day, like, we all have our niche, and we have our people. Like, if somebody wants to come and work with me, like, they'll be sold into whatever we're doing or our vision. And somebody's a little bit more convinced into working with, your company, whoever they're working. It's like, hey, kudos to that, man. Like, I'm not trying to, tell people otherwise. At the end of the day, the solar industry is one of the biggest industry at the moment. It's booming like crazy. And, so we do need a lot more people, and it's kind of, not only one company, I think could definitely take over everything, so I think we need a lot more collaborations. I have somebody I have an English training system that I collaborated with somebody else within the industry that helps me, even train my guys too. And some people's like, oh, they're going to get recruited. It's like, hey man, at the end of the day, if I don't show value and they want to go somewhere else, then hey, cool. That's on me. Right. Like, but if they're just trying to jump around, they're always going to jump around at the end of the day, so.
That's true.
Hey, you want to spend an hour a week with me helping you become a business badass? Well, check out my group in the link below.
So again, I mean, to me, when I'm sitting here thinking in my head, like if I were out in the solar world, which, yeah. I mean, I do kind of have a little thing going on in the solar world. When I'm sitting here thinking this, I'm thinking like, well, why would you want to train my team to get so dominant? You're just basically saying because there's plenty of room?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of rooms. Like,
that's a unique way of thinking.
Yeah. To be honest with you, the industry is pretty fresh. It's still evolving. And I think like the Apples and the Microsoft of solar, they haven't even been created at the moment. And there's a few years to come. And I think there's going to be a huge collaboration of, one of the biggest companies that will merge. And then I think that's what we want to do. If you want to get a big piece of the pie, you want to scale huge, that's you got to collaborate with people to make it even bigger.
And what are you going to do when it's all said and done and you got your $1 billion?
What am I going to do? I think I'm going to jump off to something else and, try to add as much value as I can with my time and, and give some good things back, in charity and, and give back in the right way and give back whatever God gave me and, serve as much as I can.
See, you almost sound like a politician.
No. It's the honest truth. I have like a 20-year map plan of what my mission is in this world.
So that's where I was going back, like before you got a job at a solar company, because like, at some point in time you had to discover solar.
Yeah.
Well, when was that? And why? What were you doing before that?
Before solar, a funny story. I used to work in the prison. We used to run a call center of 100 inmates. And I was an assistant manager, and we will teach them how to sell a product. And they were selling inside the prison. They were selling OSHA requirements for a construction company, like do them themselves training kits. And we'll send them a manual, and then they'll have their trainer train their people like for OSHA requirements, certification, and things like that. So these guys will be, on the phones calling, and I will, take over and help them sell, and then we'll coach them and we'll motivate them. And, funny story, their incentive, we used to give them creamer and coffee for, instead of watches and cars like, other sales companies do. But that's what we were doing. It was a little crazy, but it was a cool experience for sure.
You'd give them coffee and cream?
And creamer, yeah, that was an incentive. Like, hey, whoever sells, we're gonna bring, you know, this better quality of coffee this week if we get this certain amount of sales. And
did
then
you have to get that approved?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. We had to get a bunch of approvals, even to change the creamer flavor.
And then that led to solar.
And then that led to solar because they laid us off. What happened is they laid us off because some of the guys they had access to computers and they were regulated, right? And then they started like downloading porn and watching games and all this stuff. Obviously, we couldn't monitor like this. There were like almost 100 guys in there, so they had to make an investigation. And while they were making the investigation, they laid us off, like me and the manager. Then the two other guys that were working with us, so they laid us off while they investigated, you know, who was doing all this stuff, right, and trying to get somebody in trouble. I was like, dude, screw this. Like, I mean, I've been doing this for too long, and you know, I was at, my salary was like $32,000. I think a day, the most I could ever make, because I seen the director's pay stub, and it was 72 grand, which to me it was crazy, right? It was a good payoff. It was good for me at that moment, but I was like, man, but that's crazy. It was a lot of work. And then I found out somebody came and knocked actually my door, and they talked about solar. It's like, I mean, that thing sounds too good to be true, man, but talk to me a little bit more about it. And then he recruited me, and then he showed me a pay stub, kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street type of thing. He's like, man, you should come and work, you know, with us. And it seems like you got some skills. You don't have a job at the moment. And I was like, look, dude, you sound all good. It sounds too good to be true, but you show me a pay stub, and I'll start working with you, and I'll do whatever the hell I have to do if you make that type of money, and as long as it's legal, right? And then he did show me a pay stub, and I was like, hey man, when is my interview?
Let's go. That's all you had to see.
Yeah.
And then how long ago was that?
That was that's 8 years and almost 9 years already.
See, I mean, that sounds like a long time, but it also doesn't sound like any time at all.
Yeah.
So if I told people out there in the world, hey, look, you'll be a millionaire in 8 years if you just dig and work, there'd be a lot of people that quit.
Yeah.
On that journey because they don't like the pain and the work and the suffering, which is why a lot of people will never make where they want to go.
Yeah.
Happen.
100%. Yeah. A lot of people want the easy, the now, the comfortable, but
and how old are you?
31 years old.
Yeah. See, so you're still young. I mean, shit could go terrible for you still. You know what I'm saying? You could end up bankrupt. Then we'd have you back talking about what happened
in the comeback, right?
Yeah. What'd you do?
Yeah.
Where could you go if the solar industry crashes?
Where can I go? I mean, at the end of the day, right? Like any entrepreneur, we're great at, selling. So if I sell anything, any other product or whatever it is, I think I could still build a team. Yeah, I would just definitely pivot to real estate or developments or, maybe a higher end product where I could sell, or maybe selling companies or, within that space, right? I think we'll definitely, kill it. And I think it'll be fun. I'm still 31 years old. So there's a lot of energy, a lot of things that I still want to do. So.
And where do you live mainly?
I mainly live in Yuma, the sunniest city on earth.
Yuma? Yeah. See, why there?
That's where I started. And I have family there, and I got a couple of developments that I'm doing there, so I don't want to move. My plan is to move to Scottsdale and then hit the California, so I could kind of pivot little by little. I still want to dominate that.
Now, when you pivot, do you bring people with you and open up a town just by like staying at a hotel or renting an Airbnb where y'all stay and start knocking on doors? Is that how it goes?
Yeah. Once we pivot to a different area, I think I'll move there. I'll probably buy a property and start living there and start building another, team, like a good solid team, building relations
behind.
Leave people in charge of it, and I'll go visit, I go visit and, be there like every quarter or every 2 months, fly in, fly out, which we're already doing it, in some places. So yeah, it's definitely that's the plan.
So what would you have the Bomb Squad do for you if we could support you somehow?
I think if we could, spread as much as the word as we can and,
spread what word?
spread out pretty much some of the things that we have going on. We definitely want to serve a lot more people. We want to scale. We want to bring more people to the industry and try to teach them the best way that we can. So they're out there taking care of the customers, and they're out there responsible for what they're doing. And I think that's, I think that'll be really valuable. We could definitely do that, collaborate in some type of way. I know you're in solar too, so you never know.
Do you ever go to all these events that are thrown?
Yeah. We were in SolarCon, so we were speaking there in one of the panels, and what else? Door to Door too. We're in the CEO panel, and then we're invited to another solar event that's recently coming up.
Why? I mean, is there any other avenue in solar that you think you might look at?
We're really developing the technologies, the software side of things. That way we could, run ads a lot more efficient and have, customers place an order within our portals and within our ads, and then kind of build the customer care team to help them finalize the order. So that's kind of where I'm heading more towards pivoting in solar.
Do you have the big houses and the fancy cars now?
So I definitely have things that I never really thought I was going to have. I mean, I dreamed of it, right? But yeah,
What's the one thing that you have that you didn't think you would?
I always knew I was going to get something, but not as fast. I would say, I mean, thank God we have a pretty nice home, and, get to drive, $250,000 in cars, $250,000 a car, Ferrari, multiple SUVs, 6-figure cars. So it's kind of fun.
Which one's your fave?
You know what? I like the SUV. I love the Ferrari. I think it's a really cool.
What kind you have?
The Portofino. Yeah, Portofino. It's pretty cool because it's pretty smooth every time you drive. I'm sure you know the experience. It's an experience every time you get into the car, right? It's pretty fun. But I like the SUV too, kind of fast SUV.
Which one you got?
Is X6 M Competition. So I like that one for kind of longer trips.
So if you had to pick, that'd be the one.
I think it's cool because it has like a fast engine, comfortable seats. You have even massage in it. You press a button and it kind of gives you like a little massage, and it has really cool technology. Suspension is super, super dope. So I like it.
It's funny because most people be saying, they want more and more and more. You seem pretty happy in general.
No, thank God. Yeah. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for, what God has given us, and definitely. And I try to appreciate every single day because, it's a privilege to be where we're at, to be honest.
Indeed. Huh? People should hear that.
Yeah.
People need to be more grateful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what questions you have for me? Any for me? You got any questions for me?
Question for you, I will say, yeah, man. What is it?
Now it's your podcast.
Now it's my podcast. Okay, yeah, we could definitely switch it up.
No, I just usually ask people, do you got any questions for me? Only because people that come on the show, after we get done, they'll be like, damn, I meant to ask you that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have questions for me.
No, yeah, for sure. It's I think a good question is like, is there anything that we could do, for you as well? We could add value, within the solar industry or, just in general.
Train my solar people how to kill it in solar.
Let's do it.
As far as I know, any solar company that exists right now needs a training system. That's what I build. I build training systems, but I take people's knowledge that they have and show them how to, put it in a system. And then, some of them go sell it. Some of them go use it, like you did. So now we're going to, talk about how do we sell this, obviously, but every solar company listening to this, and I know I got some solar folks listening, 100%. Are probably going to think, well, why you? We got the best way of doing it. Why your training? So it always makes me think, like, why am I going to buy your training versus somebody else's or my own? Like, why do I think you're so great?
Yeah. So just like I mentioned, just the time and the proven record, I think that's, definitely a key. And then obviously a lot of the Spanish training is the people that speak Spanish will be able to identify themselves with somebody that's, from a different country or their first language is Spanish. And that makes a huge difference. Just for example, if you hire like a coach or you hire somebody in one way or another, you have to connect to this guy and, and you're able to believe a lot more, right? Because, in sales, like, one thing is to have the tools, right? But then there also has to be kind of like that inspirational and that connection with the person that's training you, and that helps you makes you believe that you're able to do it. So I think that's one of the biggest things. And because I understand too what it is to be in the field, knocking doors, presenting with customers, being at customers' houses, and having cats sitting on your lap, and all the having somebody pull out a gun in front, because you're knocking the door, and all this crazy stuff that happens while you're.
Does that happen?
100%. Yeah.
Do you ever get the housewives that want you to come in?
Yeah, for sure. I got once, I got nurse that, kind of make some weird calls at, at late at night.
Well, when you're training these people, what do you tell them to do in these cases?
Well, keep it professional, right? I think at the end of the day, like you are, you're marketing yourself, and, however you conduct yourself in front of the customer is what, that's what they're going to think about you, is like, this guy ethical with one thing, is he professional? So if he's professional this way, he's probably going to do a good job, as far as, solar goes, or whatever he's giving me as a service. That's a
good point.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, in 3 to 5 years, where can I expect you?
3 to 5 years. Oh yeah, that's a good question. I think in 3 to 5 years from now, we definitely scale, the solar business where we want to get to, as far as financially wise and system wise and opportunity wise. And also, pivoting to other ventures, where we get to serve the community, we get to help out and give back. Cause I think, with what, I'm grateful with, what God has given me. So I got to give back in one way or another, and invest in the right ways, and where people are creating opportunities where, they're making a positive impact, and they're teaching people, the right work ethics, the right principles. And ultimately, to me, the number one thing I could, the success that I have, I owe it to God. And I think if I invest towards that, he'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, that's a good answer. See, you're like a politician, man.
No, dude. Man, it's true. It's true. 100%. That's truly what I, deep in my heart, what I believe,
Folks, go follow this dude at Jimmy Esparza Official. You can find his website at renewablepoweringusa.com. And if you want to get some training, go to training.renewablepoweringusa.com. I appreciate you coming in.
Oh, thank you, man. Thanks for the invite.
Any way the bomb squad can help you?
Yeah, man. I think at the end of the day, I'm grateful with the whole squad. They've been amazing, really super cool team that you guys have behind. And if we could just keep, spreading the word, so we could help and impact more lives, I think that's going to be really valuable.
So share it, my brothers. That's what he's telling you. Share it out there. And until next time, keep it real.
The most scalable lead flow systems out there right now.
You have to buy leads, bro.
Yeah, and we do that.
And you have to buy them from me.
I will buy them from you. That's where Real Financial and Medicare Gurus unite right there.
That's right. Well, Real Financial is going to generate our own leads and buy our own leads.
And I want to buy some of your leads.
So Real Financial will also pay Sales Hammer.
I don't want to buy your leads, Brad. Just put it down. I'll give you my credit card number right now. You start selling me leads. Let's get them on tap.
Fair enough.